You're not my man. You're not my man. You're a genius.
And we are live. What is going on, people? It is your host, John D. Contradiction, with RecklessDWR, with our, I guess this is the new seasons, the new year's iterations of the Who's Man series, our podcast interview series, where we interview artists that, you want to see us have just a regular, good old-fashioned hip-hop talk with. Today, we have a super, super, super dope guest. And if you do not know, I will let the guest introduce himself.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? My name is Wrekonize from the world-famous Mayday crew, formerly of Strange Music for the better part of a decade. Good evening. How you feeling?
Hey, what is good, man? What is good? And what's crazy is even mentioning that for the better part of a decade, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It was 11 years we were on the label. We signed 2011. We signed 2011, and we just launched our own label and got our own situation in 2022. So, or 2023 even rather. So, yeah, it's about 11 years.
Hey, man, that's dope, man. Well, salute to that. And, just us being a predominantly underground hip hop movement, our platform per se, it's dope to see, Strange Music having that kind of, people having that kind of longevity with them, because they were, there was a point where you couldn't think of underground. That was the mainstream of the underground. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That was the pinnacle. That was where it was at. But
I'd say we were around for what arguably is some of the. I mean, they're still rocking and everything, but in terms of art, the amount of artists they had and what tech was doing at the time, we kind of got on there right around what is considered to be kind of the golden era of Strange Music for real. Before people started mixing it up and doing different things, but yeah, those first few years that we were there at Strange were wild. It was intense. A lot of talent there, a lot of really good staff there. It was a super dope vibe.
That's super dope. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing too. People don't realize the amount of talent that Strange was pulling together, and just the clashing of contrast, and just everyone that was there. They had an army. It was, you know what I'm saying? The music was different. It was super different, and that's something that, I mean, can be appreciated more than anything nowadays, because, a lot of what's being forced our way, or whatever's being marketed the most, doesn't sound different. A lot of it's clumped into small subgenres, and you can't hide from it anymore. But back then, from the 2011s to the 2020s, there was just hungry artists. There was whether it was duos or full groups, people were hungry, and to hit those labels you had to be a beast, to get signed by a Strange.
I mean, we cut our teeth in Miami doing our live shows. I was doing solo artist stuff, and then I joined Mayday. So already I felt like I had to step my game up getting into Mayday. There's another MC in Mayday, producers I really respect, the live band aspect of it. And then when we got signed to Strange, and it was oh shit, this is a whole different level of, and most MCs, if you're worth your weight, you're competitive with everybody. You want to show and prove. It's kind of the nature of the beast. So we got to Strange, and it was not only do you see Tech at the pinnacle, being the flagship artist, being a very technically, and also just really his work ethic and everything is just top tier. He's also super chill, super cool, down to earth ass cat. So it made you really want to be a part of his world. But then on top of that, every other artist they had when we signed, and the ones they signed after us, the subsequent years, all made you want to step your game up. So it was definitely everybody was looking around it was like being in a cypher. Yeah. It was just bring your A game or sit the fuck down. You know?
I mean, and that's dope too, because that's kind of reminiscent of what we like to imagine was the birth of it, what they gave to us, and the get down and whatnot. But it's also there's a friendliness in the competition that I feel gets just not no one talks about that steel, sharpen steel, that friendliness as far as the competition, because everybody's so focused on the controversy, the beefs, and all that stuff like that.
Money.
And people don't realize some of the best groups were the best groups because they were all, even though they're on a track, they're not dissing each other, but they were competing, you know, on even on an artistic level, on like a lyrical level, punchline level. There was always small wars that, you know, you can appreciate when you really break down the raps or like the teams and the groups and whatnot.
When Tech puts you on a record, it doesn't matter if you've been rocking with him for 20 years. It doesn't matter if you just got there. Like his like quality bar is like where it is at, and he really bends that bar for no one. So it's like I've seen people not, you know, get removed from tracks or like verses wasn't really cutting it or whatever. And if he's putting something together, like he's thinking about how the track, like the quality of the track and how it hits him and what he's looking for, and in who you are in that mix is really just pertaining to that track alone. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be like, well, we've been rocking together forever and I got mad love for you. I'll let that subpar verse fly. Hell no. He's not doing it. So there's been like a, you know, over the years I got myself into a few situations where I was like, damn, like the pressure is intense. But yeah, like you said, it's a good vibe, man. It's a steel sharpened steel situation, and it makes you the better for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. And it's like that type of like energy and music is great because like that makes everyone great. Like you think Kobe was like, yo, I'm just gonna let, you know, someone who's not team captain beat me in a one-on-one, you know what I'm saying, or score more than me. Like, nah, bro, like it's not a hatred thing. It's the amount of love you have for the game that gives you that fire, you know, that gives that
absolutely
edge.
Yeah. I that's why I respect Tech's opinion so much, is because his like set of like standards are so like sharp to him, and he never bullshits, and he lets you know how he feels, and he's real straight up about it when it comes to the art. So like getting him to give us praise when we would turn records in or put him on a record or give a verse to one of his records was a big deal, you know, and still is a big deal.
I mean, and it shows too. You look at his track record and it's like anytime someone features with him, they've gone crazy. You remember it as like one of their better verses. Like I've had my ups and downs with like, you know, dudes like Logic and stuff like that, but like Logic on a Tech track, crazy. Like,
damn.
And you know, Eminem on a Tech track, crazy. Damn. You know, he goes crazy, and it's like, you got to put that little extra in because he's doing the same thing, whether it's his record or not. Like Tech is gonna come and bring that, and that's what I liked about a lot of the artists that were signed, including like yourself and stuff. You can hear that it's like not just this is a label cut or you know what I'm saying. This is an opportunity, and that's what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying. You want to still like, just because someone got to a certain level or reached a certain point, you don't want the fight to die, you know. You want to see want to see it at it. That's when it's supposed to go crazy. Yeah, like
absolutely.
That's when the crane kick got to come out.
Yeah, exactly. The first time, you know, I would say that when we got on Strange, we had a sound pretty dialed in, but the sound and the energy and the vibe of what was going on at Strange when we got there definitely had a huge like influence on our sound at that moment. I would say we grittied up our sound a little bit because what they were doing there was so infectious, and then we went on tour with them before we ever dropped our first album with them. So we did a whole 3 months or 2-3 months of touring with Tech on the All Sixes and Sevens tour in 2011, and we hadn't put a record out with Strange yet. So imagine we went around the whole country, 60 dates or whatever it was, and watched Tech rock these crowds and saw the energy there. So then when we came back home, we took all that we had seen and put it into the record. So the difference between Mayday Stuck on an Island record and Take Me to Your Leader is a big difference because of that energy. When you got in, you were like, yo, all right, I gotta step my bars up, you know, I might chop a little bit more, I might, you know, and we grittied up our sound because that's kind of what the Midwest rap sound was at that moment. So it was what I like about that record is like you can feel us like rising to the occasion, and then over the like subsequent albums we kind of like mellowed things out a little bit and got, you know, a little bit more balanced to where we feel comfortable but still had that stuff. But it was you know, like you had to bring that style and bring that A game when he called on you, and I mean, he put me on So Dope, and So Dope so there was a verse cut off of So Dope before I got on it.
Oh, shit.
and I'm not gonna name any names or anything, but
Nah,
you know,
no,
it wasn't
I'll do
a
that.
beef. Like you said, it wasn't a beef, but it was
Yeah,
a creative decision. So
Yeah.
like I was giving it at the same time that they were like, oh yeah, there was gonna be this verse here, but that's not gonna be there anymore. And I was like, oh, so damn, all right. Well, like shit, now there's a bar there set. You know what I mean? Where it was
Yeah.
like it was like in the medieval times or whatever. They were like,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
somebody just got their head chopped off, but now you can do your dance and good luck. You know, like oh shit. Like,
It's your turn. Go entertain the crowd. Go fight.
yeah. But again, like, yeah, it just made you want to be doper. So anytime he ever tapped on us and called us to do a record for him or make a beat for him or a hook or whatever, or we were submitting stuff, you had to go hard, the hardest you ever went.
Yeah. I mean, that also, bringing up like, you know, the live show, man, I didn't even think about that. Like I've seen Tech a bunch of times. I've seen you guys a couple of times, and it's like, there is an art form in that like people need to understand. Like when you know it's he's an MC, like no, there's a true meaning behind MCs. You know what I'm saying? That people just need to see. It's hard to even fully explain. All the words in the world couldn't show you that control of like, you know, what the master of ceremonies, what they're supposed to do. And it's like you see him, and I remember from seeing him way back in like the Calhoun days and stuff like that, the choreography and all that, but even just the environment of the shows, like all the, you know, the openers, and you get the fear of the juggalos and all that, but still like the shows were, I saw J-Rock just do a backflip on stage just to try to match the energy, and I'm like, bro, this is wild. Like this is what I'm talking about, you know? So just thinking of like, yo, we got to match this. You know, you guys didn't have a record with them is crazy.
Yeah, we and then imagine, man, like we didn't have a record out, and Strange Music crowd's real loyal. So like they were loyal, you know, everybody was at the shows. They fuck with Strange Music. So we got a new signee. Everyone's like, yo, we fuck with them. Don't even know them yet, but we fuck with them. But when we came out, they hadn't announced that we'd been signed yet, and there was no record out. So we was out there, and imagine we come out looking a little bit different, you know, a couple bearded dudes. It was 6 of us when we first got signed, you know what I'm saying? It was like a couple, we looked like a biker gang for real, you know what I mean? Even our black drummer like looked like he part of our biker gang for real. So when we came out, everyone was like, yo, like what the fuck is this? And live instruments. So it was a weird aversion that first tour. We had to earn the shit out of like the respect we got. And even then, that whole tour was a little bit like a grind for real, because the crowd was so like, even okay, these guys are cool, you know. There would be people that would dismiss us in a way, and then like what was cool is we did what we did because we'd already been doing live shows. Like I come from, you know, we did live shows cutting our teeth in Miami, which is a DJ town. So if you want to get people's attention to Miami, there's a party there with a DJ, and they're not really fucking with live music like that. So for us to like build up our own like reputation in Miami as a dope live act, we had to go super fucking hard. We were doing that already, and then I grew up. My parents like raised me up on artists like Pink Floyd, Peter Gabriel, people that have amazing live shows. Their live shows are like a fucking spectacle,
it's an experience.
like
it's a
movie. You know?
experience.
Like a theatrical show. And my family's into performing arts. I'm into theater, all that shit. So like I'm like, yo, when you put on a show, even if it's in a little bar, like it's gotta feel like a journey, like an adventure. So we had all that kind of in our mindset already. But then that first tour, that crowd being so resistant and aversive to who we were because they didn't know, made us go that much harder. And then what was cool is people that dismissed us on the first run, where they were like, hey, whatever, or they didn't want to get their shirt signed by us or whatever. we ran into a range of different situations. But a lot of those people, not all of them, but a lot of those people came back on the following tour after we put out Take Me to Your Leader, and we're like, yo, man, like I feel like, or some people that had the honesty part about them will be like, yo, I feel fucked up that I dismissed y'all on the last one. Then I heard the record and yo, this shit was amazing. Or after I saw the show and I processed it because I was baked, I was like, yo, those guys were dope. And then now I'm here giving you your props. So we just had to stick it out through that first tour. But like you said, the live show from every act on Strange that was on there, J-Rock backflipping, Stone was killing the game, Prozac had the whole crowd moshing and doing the walls of death and shit.
Always a mosh at those.
Like you all that, and then you're like, oh shit, we gotta go up and all right, let's go. You know, what's cool is we never had no doubts. Like we were pretty confident in our live show game at that point. So we went out there and we're like, let's do it. Let's, I'm on some root shit. Like change the order. There's no way that we can rock after them. Like I want them scared to go after us. It's a friendly competition, but I want them to feel that pressure.
Gotta be.
Yeah. And see, like, and again, like that's also something that's super dope. And, so as far as like with our platform, I like to talk a lot about like how a lot of arts are dying in small ways. A lot of certain like just the love of things is dying in small ways because it's just, the way we access information now. And it's like seeing, even you mentioned something like, theatrics and like, liking theater and art and stuff like that. It's like, these are all things that like matter when it comes to that experience. And it's like, you could tell people like you need to go experience certain things like that just so you can understand that your influences don't have to be just one thing. And something as big as like I'll mention it because it's like, everybody knows that it was popular, but like I saw Hamilton, and it was one of the best times I've ever had in my life. I was like, this is fun. It don't make sense to me because I'm like, the president wasn't black, but like I was having a blast, and it caught me in for 3 hours. And I was like, this is an experience. This is dope. I'm not going to forget it. It's catchy. I got stuff stuck in my head. It had everything. And it's like, those dudes it's not just theatrical. Like the dudes who are rapping were rapping. They're rapping to you. They're telling the story and they're transitioning, they're performing. And it wasn't like crazy dances, but every movement was very specific. And it's like, you can be a one-man show and still have influences from like a big experience. And like, that's what sticks. That's the fan that's going to rock with you forever because you gave them that, It's not just I'm going to go up there and rap.
I used to think I'm born in 83. I'm 40 now. I used to think I was born too late because I thought I missed out on like the golden like era of hip hop, because I came into the game a little bit late in terms of as a listener. And then I also started to feel like, I missed like the golden age of performing and shit. But then now in retrospect, I feel blessed to be somewhere born in that middle ground where like we kind of we saw the whole thing, and we saw it change into now where you got artists that blow up off a song on social media and then they never perform, and then they get out there and they have to perform a show and they're horrible because they didn't get to cut their teeth the way we had to doing showcases and clubs and bars and whatever just to get people to listen to the fucking song or buy a CD or whatever. So now I kind of look at it like, damn, I kind of like where I was because I got to see the advent of the computers and the social media to the degree they're at now, and I also get to enjoy this era where I can have people support me online or do virtual shows or whatever. And it's I appreciate it more, and it also I don't have to worry about being in the position that new artists are in today where they're not being challenged to the point where they have a good show. I understand what it's like to try and build a show from scratch and have to be good and not rock over your fucking vocals.
And also learn. We can appreciate the just the progress of things, and like, and that's kind of like, I mean, for that's like the gift and the curse now, right? Like I can watch someone who they blow up off of TikTok and then they go live and their live is awful, but it's like, hey, you either make that your underdog story or you quit. You know what I'm saying? And
it's
like,
a breaks the artist.
For the record, I don't really judge those artists like that that run through that. I understand, and I sympathize with them because if you look at my first performances, which are not like broadcast live on the internet, like I was going through the same struggles and learning how to rock the mic. Yeah, you had to learn. Like my learning just got to be like in a club in Miami with no one watching, or 10 people watching or whatever. Yeah. But it's not being broadcast or being super analyzed, or my song didn't pop before I got on that stage for the first time, all nervous and shit. So it's like I sympathize with them really at the end of the day. Yeah. What the part where the judgment comes in, and this is going to be real light because I'm not a judgmental person, but I'm more cynical and jaded than I am judgmental, right? But like my slightly judgmental part is like, okay, you've gone up there and now you've done it, and you realize it didn't feel all that dope, or you're maybe you just say, yo, that was ill and I'm the shit, but really you should be going like, how could I better that, or what are the people saying, or whatever, and how do you put the work in, the same way I came into the game 90 let's say roughly 94, 95 listening to music. So I missed like 92, 93. And then I was like, okay, rocking with that. And then I'm like, wait, I'm missing a bunch of shit. Like I missed out on Tribe and De La and classic shit. So I went back as a teenager at that time, or just about to be 20 or whatever it was. And I was like, yo, let me peep the other shit and do my research to try and be the best MC I can be. And that required work.
Find what you resonated with. Yeah. And and that's part of the the journey, the fun, the experience. Like, like I grew up with hip hop, and my brother was like, one is funny because my older brother, he looked like Tupac, but he big Tupac fan. He bald, he got the nose piercing, but he was a big Tupac fan. So when I used to rock with, when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do my rap thing, I used to like watch some Tupac videos, whatever I could, whatever was on cassette, and practice his mannerisms in the mirror and wonder why he was always holding his stomach and all that. But then like when I started playing shows, and I was like, this is fun, but Pac, he was a little ripped, high energy, and I'm like laid back. I started watching like Big Daddy Kane, and I'm like, this dude he's comfortable. He could be up there in pajamas and the crowd's going crazy. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, And I learned from that, and like him telling jokes and all that. And I took just the things that I liked and then what I wanted to do and kind of develop my own style. And it's like, that's the fun of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the best part of it. Because when you see something click.
To me, you got to be like an open channel, like, and like the analogy I was using with some of my homies is like my wife is super addicted to Disney World, right? We live in Florida, we live in Miami, so it's only a few hours away. So she loves to go to Disney all the time, and my homies always be clowning me and shit, like, you going to Disney again or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, gotta keep that wife happy and shit. But every time I go there, I always keep the channel open for all kinds of things. It'll be a performer that's just performing there, and I'll be like, oh, I like the way they're doing this, that, and the other. Or it'll be Disney marketing and their merchandise is fucking amazing. So like, how can I implement that into what I'm doing? You know what I mean? And I'm always just trying to keep the channel open, because like that's how you keep the train moving in life. So I feel like that's the way you should really try to approach the situation. It's helped me along the way. And sometimes when my homies hit me up and they're like, yo, I hit a block and I don't know, and I'm like, yo, just step outside and just like absorb the shit for a second. And there's shit everywhere. There's ideas are everywhere.
Take a look at just what's around you. Like, and that's another thing, like with this page, we review so much music, and people always like, oh, you guys hate on the new age. And it's like, no, we give a lot of new age its props. We give a lot not, but like we do criticize when things sound too copy and paste, cookie cutter. And it's like, there's too much music out there to have music sound so similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's too much. And it's like for artists to just be like, nah, I don't listen to other music. It's like, oh, you're doing yourself a disservice, because there's so much. And it don't have to be, you don't have to listen to other rappers. You don't have to, like, there's so much just music, dope music out there that you can learn and just get new feelings from, and new things that you didn't even know you wanted to tap into. So it's like, why would you not give yourself even the opportunity to find that?
Especially since we come from an era where everybody had to be different in order to be dope and stand out.
Yeah.
It was whack if you try to copy someone else.
Yeah,
so
it was biting. It was this and that.
Yeah, it was biting. People don't say biting no more.
Yeah, people don't say
biting.
Yeah,
that part of the like the culture has definitely died off. And then there was like a weird part where there was like an era when I remember hearing somebody say like, there's too many people trying to be different, not trying to be dope, because it did get a little out of hand where it was like, you're just trying to be different. Yeah, you're trying to be different to be different. And like at the end of the day, there's only 12 fucking notes on the piano, bro. So it's like some music's gonna be monotonous and the same. Like sometimes when people would talk about music sounding similar, I'm like, you like reggae? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, a lot of reggae sounds fucking same, but it makes you feel a certain kind of way, and that's cool. Like we can be cool with that. It doesn't have to always. Yeah, like that's a vibe. Like I feel like sometimes we like fall into traps of being too rigid with the music. When most went viral recently criticizing Drake, I was like, like he's saying that he's looking for a challenge, and I'm like, but that's like going to the Jim Carrey movie and being like, yo, I'm looking to cry. Like, no, Jim Carrey's not for that, bro.
He's not for that.
He's there to make you laugh. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so there's different categories. We don't always have to be Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, so exactly. That it took me a long time to get to that place. Like when I was a teenager and really on my super underground rap shit, I didn't feel that way. But as I get older, I'm a little bit more like, yo, that Drake track's fine. Let him live, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a little more easy going now.
Yeah, and it's like, I agree with that too. Like if it's like, hey, if no one else is doing what Drake's doing, then let it rock.
Yeah, let it
it's just and then it's just a matter of, but if there's like, we got one song that sounds just like this, and you literally make the same song 1,000 times because you're like, one of these gonna hit and grab that market. And it's like, all right, now you drowning us, you know.
Here's where it starts to get sticky for me is that I read an article about there was these guys that used to be label guys, right? And then they ran out and they were like, label, we're not doing what we want to do or making the money we want to make. So then they ran out and got with some venture capital guys, right? And these guys put their heads together and basically went and started buying a bunch of catalog. So they're buying a bunch of catalog, and then they bought this catalog, all these songs, these like songs from the 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever. And they bought those songs with the sole intent to repurpose those records. So if you notice, like there in the last 5 years, there's like all of a sudden you hear like, oh shit, somebody's sampling, I don't know, like a Flow Rider song, like something that's not even, it's not even that old, or like, you know what I mean? And then there was this weird resurgence of all these like samples that were super recognizable. And what these guys were doing was just like tapping into people's nostalgia and shit.
Yeah.
And some of the
smart marketing.
Yeah.
Totally genius idea.
Genius marketing.
But at the same time, I was like, okay, it's getting a little much. Like, we don't need to sample this for the 40th time. Or, you know what I mean? Like, there's a moment where I start to feel a little bit manipulated. At the same time, if it makes you feel good, I still resort to, like, if it's fucking, if you feel it, don't question it. You feel it. It's fine.
You feel
like,
it,
it's
don't
cool.
question it. But if you're out there targeting it, then it's malicious.
It's a little
It
different.
does feel a little, it does feel a little bit manipulative. Like, man, come on, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, it feels a little bit like a
formula.
You know that song, if anything.
That's like me with ads, bro. Like I'm always looking at like you know, MMA gloves and like anime shorts, and then I'll get a million ads. I'm like, at this point, it's malicious. Like you're trying to hurt me and my funds.
Leave me alone.
You know, leave me alone.
Hey, Apple changed the game when they put in that ask these apps not to track, because people started waking up now to how much they were being tracked by these fucking apps, and I feel that shit too. Like
it becomes a joke. It's like, yo, you ever think of something and your phone pulls it up, and it's like, nah, yes, that happens all the time.
All the fucking time.
It's scary.
Yeah,
like my phone knows me better than I know myself.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's why we gotta be careful. We gotta watch out where that line is. It gets a little dangerous for sure. I agree.
Yeah. It's terrifying. We don't even know it. And there's like wars on buying that information between all these big companies. Yeah. And we're like, we don't even think to worry why, you know?
Yeah. I just go on their pages, don't even buy nothing, and go back every time so they can spend thousands of dollars on me, and I won't even buy it. You know?
I gotta reverse the algorithm.
Yeah. Keep emailing me. That card's gonna remain abandoned. Fuck that.
I'm just gonna keep searching self-help and like finances so I can get better at that. Show me more of that.
Yeah, man. Wild world out there for sure.
Oh, it is wild. Yeah. So, Rek, man, I know you like to get into your questions. I gotta
get
my rap
dog
out first. Yeah, you know.
I know how you do, dog. So I wanted to ask, you rap with so many lyrical giants, Tech Nine, Crooked Eye, Bum Beast, and all the products, so many different people. Like, has there anybody who's been like a definitive, like, intimidating person to be on the track with that you're like, oh shit, like I'm kind of second guessing myself or something?
That's a good question. Well, one of my highlighted, like, holy shit, features, it wasn't so much an intimidating thing because we didn't do it in the same room, but we did it through the wire, but it was Black Thought. We did a remix for TNT, and we put, it's like a lot of people never even really heard it. It was on a mixtape we did. And so it's Khaled doing the intro, and then it's Black Thought, me and Burns, and then it's Stevie Stone, J-Rock, and John Connor, all on the same record. And Black Thought, not so much that it was intimidating. I mean, it definitely was a little bit, because to me he's one of my goats. He's Black Thought, bro. Like, what the fuck, you know? So definitely like had to question. And the thing was, I hate when you're on a track with a lot of MCs and you only get 8 bars. To me, like, it's the worst blue balls ever. Like, come on, let me flex. I need a full 16 to give you the ups and downs. Let me put, 8 bars is like I'm just getting warmed up for real. Fuck. So I only had 8 bars on that one, as did Black Thought. What was really cool about that one though is I feel like I did decent enough, and his bars are fucking Black Thought bars. They're all great. And what was cool though is at the time we sent the track through his management, and we said, hey man, like, we don't have a lot of budget and shit, but what can you do it for? And they came back saying Black Thought loves the record. He said, don't stress the budget. Damn. Basically, just owe him a favor in the future. I'm like, so we was like, yo, we get a Black Thought verse and we owe him a favor? Like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like, it was just like, I still never met him in person, but like that exchange like only solidified like one of my heroes to be my hero. You know what I mean? So like I would say definitely the Black Thought one was pretty up there. And The other one would have been at the time when we did Fragile too. You know, Tech was reaching out to a few different people, but the pressure was off me because I didn't rap on that one. I just did the singing and the hook and shit. But in the beginning, like if I would have been rapping, I would have felt pressure because first there was talk of maybe Yellow Wolf being on there, and then like there was a possibility Eminem would have been on there, and they were talking, they sent it to him and shit, which would have been wild. And then Kendrick got on it, and Kendrick was like already peak pinnacle of where he was at before he went like skyrocketing. He was already huge, and that was also another moment where I was like, damn, if I was rapping, I'd feel some type of way of pressure here. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm the singing guy on this one. You know? But yeah, I would say those are two of the ones where I was like, ooh, you know, even though Fragile didn't rap on, I still felt like, yo, like if I was rapping, I would feel pressure right now. Kendrick can't embody that shit.
Yeah, definitely, brother.
Hey, salute to that too, though. Salute to being versatile and singing on tracks too, man. I always joke about it, but ain't nothing like I try to sing. You know, I mess around. I mean, I learn. I do my lessons every now and then. But it's like a lot of rappers like, nah, they too cool for it. And I'm like, no, bro, like you don't realize what you can do to your song just by learning a little bit of harmony. But like salute to you for that too. Like you always. The levels are there, you know. Man,
the thing is, so my dad's a songwriter, singer-songwriter, plays guitar and sings. My mom was a backup singer in his band. That's how they would like kicked it when they were young before I was born.
The dream.
So like I had them, you know, I had my dad kind of teaching me. Basically, the first time I ever wrote a song, I was like 9 in New York. My parents had split up 2 years prior. I was in New York City with my dad. He lived in Manhattan, and I told my dad, like, me and my sister said to him like at 9 and 7, like, how do you write a song anyways? Because we always see him doing it. And he was like, I'll show you. You know what I mean? So he basically got the pad out and formulated a concept of a song, and we wrote the lyrics together, and we went to a studio in Manhattan and recorded it. That's my first like writing experience and my first studio experience. So it was like, awesome. I was already, and I was singing as a 9-year-old. So I was already into singing for those like, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then right around 11, 12, I got super into hip hop, and at that time, it was not fucking cool to sing in hip hop.
Not cool to sing.
Nah. So I was like, so wait a second. Like I was before, you know, 10, 11, I was like practicing like Summertime and the Women is Easy. You know, I was doing classics and shit. And then 11, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I want to rap, you know? So rap ruined me in a way in the beginning because I totally stopped practicing and learning how to like use my vocal cords like that. So then it took me like a few years to get like, you know, comfortable with rapping and shit where I would start to like push some melody in there and still wasn't going super hard. But then in 2009, when I joined Mayday, around the time I was kicking it with Burns and Plex, when they were just a 2-man group, they were really motivating me and pressing me to like sing more. And once I started to, I had never really sung at a live show, only rapping. And then they were like, yo, man, I think you could hold it down and whatever, do your thing. Like, so they were pushing me to sing on the tracks and then pushing me to sing at the live shows. And we used to do this live show in Miami on South Beach at this club called Jazz It. It was a really dope, super tiny jazz bar on South Beach, and we used to go and just like do improvised sets for like 2-3 hours. You know, we would just be in there. Awesome. The guys would be playing, and we'd be rapping and fucking around. So then they started to be like, "Yo, you could sing more in there, and you could have the freedom to do however you want." So I started to practice it there at the live shows, practice it on the tracks, and then by the time I was like kind of releasing the first music officially as a Mayday member, I felt comfortable enough to keep it building from there, and that's how I got back on track because I got knocked off that track for a minute. You know, it was fucked up.
That's dope, like, man. That's hip-hop. Super dope. Yeah, I'm glad it came back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too. And I love the way the whole industry ended up evolving too, because melody is everywhere in the music now. Yeah, and you have people that maybe aren't the best singers, but still putting the melody into their verses or their hooks, and like melody is everywhere. And to me, like that's what really drives it and keeps it. I mean, I still love some gritty rap shit. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
melody is a beautiful thing.
Catchiness, the melody, and like the science of that's what you're gonna be humming like just out of nowhere, you know. And that's what's dope. And that's the one thing that I definitely do agree with too. Like back in the day, it was always like the rapper insult was like you went pop, and it's like now the things that were taken from pop that are being implemented in hip hop now, I like. You know what I'm saying? They make sense. Like. Just on a catchy and like giving things a little more longevity as far as sonically. It's
we're the better for it.
The future.
as a genre, we're the better for it when there are no boundaries, because the music was built off of no boundaries. We were allowed to take whatever we wanted off of any record we wanted. So it's like, why are we going to put up a wall right here when we can't sing? Like that was no, I don't know who did it. And then it was weird because...
And it's like we sampled disco. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like we're all over the fucking place with sampling. And some of those same people that I grew up on being like, yeah, fuck R&B and boom, boom, boom. Then they would have records with girls singing. I was like, wait, so are we fuck R&B or are we not fucking our R&B? I don't get, like, what's happening?
It's like
it was contradictory.
The R&B thing, it was like such a line drawn, because after, you know, like Method Man and Mary J. Blige put out what they put out, everybody's like, maybe we like R&B.
You know, I need one of those.
I need one of those. And then Lauryn Hill, you know, and then the Fugees come out. It's like, maybe it's not that bad. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
And then
That's the purest of everything, though. Everything fresh has those purists that want it exactly the way it was the second it came out.
Absolutely. Which, you know, I get it to a degree, because also like it's who you were at that moment. It's not just the music, the way it sounded. It's like your life at that moment. You're nostalgic for it, so you want it to be the way it was when you had that time in your life that you were really nostalgic for. And I love nostalgia too, but you know, there's a moment where I just feel like, yo, with boundaries in hip hop, like we're always the better for the opposite. Open that shit up, man. Let everything in. Let's go. Let's make it the most dynamic shit we can.
Let it be what it was. Honestly, I personally like, I hate the whole war between like, oh, you know, old this, ageism and all that, because it's like, to me, I'm from New York. I grew up Queens, Elmont, so it's like, stuff like that was always funny to me. Like the old head, young head thing was always like a funny debate. It was never like a serious or like a judgmental thing, but it was always like room for jokes. Like, yo, we laughed at the baggy clothes, we laughed at the big horn rim glasses. So it's like, if it still had that type of funny energy to it, I feel like the younger cats would be more prone to learning and maybe diving into it a little bit. But it's so serious and like shunned that they got more of a chip on their shoulder towards the old age than they do, you know, the curiosity and such. But
yeah, I think the cool thing about my perspective personally for me is like, now that I'm 40, I'm looking at it with way less like, you know, aggression, in the sense that I'm like, it's cool, you can think like that, because trust me, in 20 years or whatever, you're gonna be thinking just like this right here. You know, you'll feel the way, you'll see it from my perspective a little bit better, so I don't really have to worry, because you're gonna get there. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I seen what you're talking about, and I get it, because I was like that too. So like, it's cool, it's whatever. But yeah, I'm with you on the ageism thing. What's cool about again, where we're at now is like, now, when we were younger, we didn't have artists that were, you know, rappers that were 50. But now you have hip hop's 50 years old. You have artists that are 50 and 60. You know what I mean? And they're getting, there's two British guys, fucking Pete and Bass or whatever, that are like 68 or whatever the fuck, and rapping, and nobody's batting an eyelash. They're like, yo, this shit goes, like, it's fire. Like, it's a little bit of a parody in a way, where it's like, it's kind of a gag, but it's still, they're rapping, and nobody's saying like they're too old to rap, which is cool.
Nobody's saying,
because I think that's how it should be.
Cool G rap still dropping heat. No one's questioning that.
No one's questioning E40 dropping
Master
shit.
Ace dropping heat. E40. Jeezy
I just saw Slick Rick in Miami Live. Like, ain't nobody was like, oh, should he be performing? No, he's out here killing it. It's fine. It's fine. So I like that, because being where I'm at, I'm 40, you know, I'm maybe like 10, 15, whatever years behind some of these cats, even Tech 9, you know what I mean? Tech he's past 50 now. And, you know, it's cool for me, because it gives me like hope, or not even hope, but just like confirmation that I can keep going and I don't have to worry about it. I can, like, I don't have to trip, even though I still feel like I'm in my little zone where I'm happy to do my music, and anyone who fucks with it, cool, let's party. But at least I see these cats that are legends going and aging into that age and continuing to do music. And it gives me like, oh yeah, cool. Like, I got at least another 10 years, you know what I mean? Let's go. Like, fuck it. I cling on to
shit
that
you could just have a good time with. I mean, Andre 3000 just showed us a whole new route.
You know, fucking flute album, man.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
You
know.
Yeah, I did find it funny that they were, you know, some rappers were taking issue with him saying like he felt he was too old to rap. You know, you saw everyone got mad defensive, like, what you mean too old to rap? Like, fuck that, you know.
They didn't even let him. They didn't even let him like get his reasoning off. It's like, I get what he was trying to say. Like, his subject matter is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I think again, it was for him. That meant for him. He didn't say for anybody else. He said, "What am I gonna rap about? I'm this age and this is my life, and I play flute in the laundromat. Like, I don't really feel the urge to rap a whole album. That's it. But he still does his features and shit. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I think the ageism thing was an unfortunate side effect of a genre being so young and not having people that were that old, like rock and roll or country or whatever. But now we're getting past that point, and then it'll be really cool to see what happens in the next 20, 30 years when we're way past a whole life cycle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then they'll be where we are at, and they're like, oh, wow, I was hitting on somebody that's my age now. And it's like, I want to kill rap. I keep rapping still. What's going on?
Yeah.
Come
on, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's 90 something. You know what I mean? Like, imagine a rapper getting inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at 90. Like, totally plausible. You know what I mean?
Possible,
they might not be jumping around as much, but they'll still do their verses.
Yeah, I'm sure Snoop's going to do that later on. He's going to be the one dude who's going to be the 90-year-old.
Will be the one. He will be the one to do that, though.
He's immortal. He's immortal.
Yeah, he's immortal. I can see.
He'll be doing commercials for the next 500 years.
About a big later just because of that.
Yeah, there we go.
Snoop is the man.
So
Snoop hip-hop, man.
Snoop's the first hip hop album that I ever physically owned. My mom bought it for me when I was 11 on Valentine's Day as like a present. And I've talked about it before. Like it was a very pivotal album for me. Like it made me really think about making my own like rap music for real. And also I was like, damn, like I have kids that are 6 years old now. I wonder in 5 years if I feel that they'd be okay to listen to Doggy Style. Like I'm not sure if I'm gonna be cool with that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I give my mom props for that. But that was my first record. So I'm
different times. It's different times. It's different times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's different times. Like if you look at movies that are rated PG, like Poltergeist is rated PG, bro. I couldn't.
No way. Is it really?
Poltergeist is rated PG. That's what's wild. Yeah, classic. But it's like
wow.
Remembering it, I'm like, that can't be PG. I'm like, how is this rated PG?
I would have lost money on that question every time. I'm like, at least PG-13.
Yeah, at least at minimum PG-13.
But no, back then they were too lenient.
yeah. Back in ratings.
Well, they weren't so fucking sensitive. Really, is what it is. You know, like shit. Everybody's so goddamn. We've overstimulated ourselves so much that we're so sensitive to every little piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Some of that stuff is debatable, really. But it's whatever. What are we gonna do? Fuck it. I was there for the PG Poltergeist. That's all I know.
Yeah. That's right. We got to watch it at a young age.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So how was your experience doing the 5 Fingers of Death with Sway?
Oh man, the 5 Fingers of Death. God damn it. I really hated that experience, to be honest with you. I love Sway and DJ Wonder's a fucking beast, and like I really nothing with them or the show or the format or anything. It was just that similar to years ago when I got my first record deal, I was coming off the freestyle battle circuit and I used to freestyle a lot. And then I zeroed in after I did this MTV battle and won it. I zeroed in and was like, yo, I'm going to make records. That was the whole point. Yeah. I'm going to make this music. So I'm writing, I'm not freestyling, I'm not battling, I'm not practicing.
Your brain shifts when you do that.
Total brain shift. And then I got an offer to, sorry, this is like a preface to 5 Fingers of Death, but I got an offer to go to Mix Show Power Summit in Puerto Rico and battle. So it was a big battle, 4 of us. It was me, Jin, J Mills, and Shells. It was like right around the turn of like the freestyle going into like acapella written battling that was happening in New York, like Fight Club style. Yeah. And I wasn't really privy to what the change. And I was also zoned into my music shit or whatever. So I went in there a little bit too cocky and I had a bad, I didn't do well. So I did okay in the first round with Jin and then I fucking fell out and he roasted me. But so, that was rough. Then 5 Fingers of Death, kind of a similar situation where I used to freestyle a lot, consider myself to be a decent freestyler. I'm not fucking Super Nat or anything or one of these guys, but I'm okay. I can hold my own. But when that came, it was like we've been like grinding to get our deal. Then we got our deal with Strange. We toured. We fucking did this album. We were in the zone. We're writing records all the time. And then it was like we go promoing for the first record. And we ran around New York a bunch with Tech and Calico and Strange and stuff. And we get to Sway's show. Sway remembers me from the MTV battle, years prior. And so he's hype. He's like, yo, hell yeah, cool. Like, he's so happy to have me there. And then it was like, yo, so we got this 5 Fingers of Death thing. Like, no other rapper in the room is really a freestyler, like, by trade. Nobody's really like, I'm going to jump on the mic and go off the top. So naturally, Sway's like, yo, Rec, what's up? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to back down from a challenge. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
A legend on a legendary platform.
Yeah, like, who's going to turn that down? Like, fuck, So it's like, I didn't have the wherewithal in my mind to do what some MCs do and kick written verses through the whole thing. Like that, and I'm not judging them for doing that, and that's totally cool. I've done written verses on radio shows many times before.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the preparation and like for that. I didn't prepare. So then I was like, fuck it, I'm going off the top. And there was some cool moments, but like overall, I was not happy with like my performance on it. And then there was one beat that Wonder threw me that was just disrespectful. Like what the fuck? Like, I know he tries to trip people up and they always say that, but then I watched some of the other MCs go on and I'm like, where was the trip up part on his? Because his beats were all fire, all 5 of them, like cypher ready beats, you know, like no samba shit. No, you know, he threw me one that was just like the tempo change was fucked me up so much that everything after that was like a stumble, you know? So honestly, that was like one of the last like real radio show like freestyles that I did. And I think it might be like subconsciously because I was like shell shocked from like how poorly I felt that I did, you know?
Yeah.
And people, some people have been nice to me over the years and be like, yo, man, you killed it or you did cool or whatever. And then the comments online of people who don't give a fuck about my feelings is like, yo, trash, whatever. And it's cool. Like coming from the battle era and doing all the battling I did, my skin's pretty thick for that stuff. And especially because I also agree, like I didn't really do as good as I felt I could have done. So the experience was cool and I was happy that I didn't back down from it. It's by far like one of my least favorite like freestyles publicly recorded I've ever done. And I always had like a very strong urge to go and get revenge at some point.
Get
you know
back.
what I mean? Like I do kind of, it's like a small smudge on my fucking record where I'm like, oh, I really want to go back and fix that one, you know, like I want to erase it and do a different answer. So it's like I do want to go back one day and like we did do a promo run for Merz Day and we teamed up with Merz and did an album with him and we went back and Merz is really tight with Sway obviously. So we went back and did Sway's show to promote Merz Day and we did freestyles on that. And that time I just did the classic, like I'm gonna pull a verse off the album and kick it off another beat. And they didn't offer me the 5 fingers that time. I wonder why. I wonder if it was because they thought I was trash. Nah, I don't know. They didn't, for whatever reason, like I don't even think Wonder was there for that one maybe. I don't know. Either way, I didn't get the opportunity to do 5 fingers then. So one day maybe I might pop up and like try to Black Thought it and go crazy or whatever. But I don't know. Like so that was kind of my experience with it. It was not what I wanted it to be, but I was happy that I didn't like bail. You know, I stood up to the challenge.
And it gives context to that bar on that Merz album you did where you said I'll freestyle on Twitch, but I won't do it on Sway.
Oh yeah. Was that? I think that was Merz that said that, wasn't it? Or was that me? Did I say that?
I thought it was you, but it might be wrong. I could be wrong.
No, actually, I think I remember it might have been the project that I produced for Merz, and then I heard that bar and I was like, hell yeah, because I felt that shit. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I was like, damn, I should have said that shit, or no, maybe I did say that shit. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, but yeah, that is how I feel. So for sure, yeah, it's like the radio freestyle shit. I used to love it so much, but it's so fucking stressful and like. My when I was freestyling regularly, I felt really good about it. Like I did one on Tony Touch's show, like just shortly a couple years before that, and I really liked the way that one came out. And I felt like I was when I was closer to when I was really like going off the top a lot. And my memory retention for verses, like to recall verses on the spot like that, not really prepping for that radio freestyle. I don't really have the best memory retention for that, and I didn't really come up in that moment where I was prepping for that like a lot of cats were. So like I always watch people's radio freestyles like with envy. I'm always like, fuck man, like I love when dudes go on there and kill it.
Because
Black
some
Thought
people
on
go crazy on
oh my god,
bro.
like bro, like some amazing, there's so many amazing ones. Like Tokens killed it, Lil Dicky's killed it a bunch of times, fucking fucking Black Thought's Funk Flex one is obviously legendary, insane.
Legendary,
So every time, like Locksmith recently just went on Sway again and killed it. Like every time someone goes on there, I definitely am looking like, fuck, one day I would love to get one of those off.
I feel like that's like, there's like, you know, every artist is like, oh, they have like their things that they want to do, but like deep down inside, every artist wants one real good, like 5 Fingers of Death or one real good radio freestyle, like one real, because like, those are some of the most memorable ones, man. Those Coast Contra dudes got it right because they only go crazy on those, and they're dope artists like individually, but like
agreed.
When they do those radio freestyles, they absolutely show out, and it's like a viral machine. Like you can't go wrong, and it's insane. Like it's memorable, and it just gives you that feeling. It's like, you know, the cypher feeling. You know,
there's something about it live. Like I did in 2019. I was bouncing back from having my kids. I had twin sons in 2017, at the end of 2017.
Twins.
So 20, yeah, twins, man. Whew, I'm still struggling. 2018, we did a Mayday record. I didn't do anything solo. And the only reason we got a Mayday record off is because the guys were really like putting a lot of music down and controlling, the situation. So where I basically came in later in the process and was like, okay, here, let me do this and put my pieces here and boom, boom, boom. Without them, South of Fifth wouldn't have probably came out that year. But so when 2019 rolled around, I was like, yo, I'm going to get my get back because I've been sitting on the bench doing the daddy thing and shit. I need to get it in. So I was like, I'm going to do a fucking freestyle every week. So I did 52 weeks in 2019. Jeez. And those freestyles are like some of my best, in my personal opinion, some of my best examples of like, I could fucking spit. Here, check it out. I'm just demolishing these beats, and I was doing it once a week, never missed a fucking week, all the way till New Year's Eve or whatever it was, and did it every Wednesday. And then I had a DJ mix that shit together. It's on YouTube. It's like 2.5 hours of fucking freestyles. It's like, I counted it. It was like 3,500 bars or some wild shit like that. And that felt like my version of like, here's how I can get it off. But I will still say that at the end of the day, nothing, like you said, replicates the live delivery of it. The energy of hearing someone spit it on the radio show, walking the tightrope, and doing it to the fucking, doing it to the best degree.
The stakes are just so much higher when it's like, when you're just hearing the word live, you're like, yo, this is
so many emotions flow through. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is you either choke or you don't.
One of these days, I hope that like I'll come out with a project that kind of coincides with that kind of promotion, like where it'll fit into the promotion of the project really good. If I go and do radio runs for that, and then I'll go out there and literally try to do that on everybody's show that'll let me. One day I'll try to get my Get Back tour, and it's still on my to-do list, on my bucket list. I got to get at least one off before I go.
Yeah, if you're going swigging, you better ask this time. If you don't ask, hey, by the way, hold on. Do you mind if I do a quick 5 finger dance? You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, he's not gonna say no.
Don't be throwing me no weird 3/4 samba shit. Give me the hot shit. I know people be going on there and asking for beats too. They'll be like, "Do you have this beat? Okay, cool." Because I have a whole rap to that fucking beat. Like I'm like, damn, you could do that. I didn't even know you could request a beat. I thought you just had to take whatever the DJ gives you.
Some of them do be perfect, and it's like, I don't know,
feels like you've practiced to this beat before. And like you asked
the
for
timing and everything is too perfect.
Yeah. Okay,
I gotta hear him like Mr. Fab when they threw him random and he still killed it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I fuck with that. All right, one day I'll get my revenge. One day.
Ooh, looking forward to that. In no particular order, or unless you wish you want to have an order, what's your top 5 favorite rappers of all time?
Oh, the top 5. It changes a lot, but my stagnants throughout the year, like my ones that have remained on there, is Black Thought. And this is in no particular order because it shifts a lot. And then also, I also, when we have that debate, I'm there's so many categories. It's like, are we talking just bars? Are we talking catalog? Yeah. Like, are we talking catalog? Are we talking performance? Are we talking overall? Like, there's all these different, barbershop categories we can fit
overall.
Yeah, so usually you shoot for overall.
Overall, yeah. As far as like, who's your go-to? I'm gonna put this on. This is always gonna come in my mind first when I'm looking for hip-hop.
For me, it often is MCs that really like make me want to rap. You know what I mean? Like when you like, there's certain rappers I love that when I hear them, I just enjoy them as a listener. But then there's certain rappers I hear them and I'm like, fuck, I need to go hard right now and rap a verse. Like I need to step my shit up. So Black Thought is one of them. Pharaoh Monch is another one. Pharaoh Monch is up there. Pharaoh Monch often rotates into my top spot. And why it's always, category is a weird thing there is because he's done a lot in the recent years to expand his catalog, but for a while his catalog wasn't that big. Compared to other rappers, right? So for me, it was like, oh, Pharaoh, I would say Pharaoh, and people would be like, well, he only has this record or this record, whatever. And I'd be like, but the thing is, Pharaoh has such a distinct style, and the way he flips the words and bends the words to his will, and his style is so,
it's only him.
It's amazing. So he's one of them. So I'm going Black Thought, Pharaoh. Aesop Rock is one that's a big one for me.
He was putting out masterpieces.
Still going. Amazing poet, fucking dope voice, like makes dope beats too. I know it's not part of the convo, but I just think but when he raps, like what he does with the words is fucking amazing. And he was a really
great.
crazy. And he was a really big influence on me in my early like rap years when I first started. Like when Daylight came out, I was just like, this is everything, and beat the fucking brakes off that song.
Hell yeah.
So and everything since then too. So yeah, I'd say Aesop would be in there as well. And then for 4 and 5, that's a tricky one. Yeah. When you know those first top 3 you go through, cool, you're there. Damn, 4 and 5 is always a tricky one. Fuck. I would say Tech's got to be in my top 5 for sure. Tech just and I would say that even if I wouldn't have the exposure I had to him, like seeing him from backstage or in the studio or whatever, just as a fan, like the technicality of him and how he treats the pen, what he does with cadence is fucking interstellar. And like his rhyme patterns,
his longevity is crazy. Like the fact that like if you listen to his first releases to his now releases, and just everything in between, he's literally like Dracula. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been through all the different changes and eras of hip hop, and like he's adjusted perfectly fine. Like it's not, you'd be like, oh, he's from that era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No
Absolutely.
Problem.
Yeah. So Tech would be in there for me for sure in the 5, and then oh man, I always feel like I grew up in Miami and bounced back and forth between New York for a while. So like I'm always really East Coast like biased. So I could easily like slide Nas into my 5th slot and shit. But then at the same time, I had a really big, like it took me a little while to get to him. But once I got to Tupac, like I also had a really big Tupac kick. And when there would be debates about Pac versus Biggie or whatever, I'll always be in the middle like, oh, but they're both amazing. Like fuck, it's kind of tough, but I guess like in this moment when I'm talking like, oh, I don't want to just be all the way East centric, I'll put Pac in there in the 5.
There you go.
That's how I'd round out the 5 for now. But the shit changes. But that's what I say for right this moment. And those are like artists that like I hear them and their catalog, their songwriting ability, their fucking verses, and their cadence and lyrics combined make me want to just go in the booth right now, literally right now.
Okay, bro. It's a solid list right there.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. So I would just like to know, just on a musical standpoint, what are some of your like 5 of your top like influences, just music wise, like artist wise? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like in general,
like bands,
like
anything,
any genre.
Any genre.
Definitely Pink Floyd is a big one. My parents played a lot of Pink Floyd. They're like how theatrical their music was.
What's your favorite Pink Floyd album?
Yeah,
I know what mine is, but I don't know it's yours.
I used to love The Wall a lot, but then Dark Side kind of like crept in over the years. Like I do like Dark Side of the Moon a lot, but I mean, my pops took me when I was a kid. One of my earliest concert experiences, he took me to Giant Stadium to see. I went. No, well, I seen that too. But he took me to Giant Stadium to see Gilmore do The Wall, and that's
awesome.
It was one of my first like arena experiences. I was really young, and there was like weed smoke in the air and condoms being blown up as balloons, and I was like, "Where the fuck am I? This is amazing!" And the plane flies across the fucking thing and blows up on the stage, like. Those experiences were really like impactful for me. So Floyd is definitely one of them. Peter Gabriel fits in there as well. My mom took me to see Peter Gabriel when I was really young, and that dude, very distinct voice, one of the dopest voices in music.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then his live show was also fucking incredible. Like the way he put his stage together, and he came out of a phone booth with a long cord and went to the end of the stage, and then he's digging faces out of the ground and like just wild shit. So that his like style and how much he was so kind of animated was always really like impressive to me. I always thought he was super dope. So yeah, and then in hip hop too, like not talking about like top rappers or whatever. One of my most influential groups for me personally was De La Soul. Like I'm a big De La Soul
Long
fan.
Island.
Literally, yeah, LI, what's up? Like I literally followed them around Florida like one year, like straight fan style. Like was at every show, like popped up at random shows in different parts of Florida because their live show was so fucking amazing to me.
It's like a cookout on stage, man. It's comfortable,
and
it's fun.
Their energy and like the way they threw it back between each other was always super, super amazing. So it was cool for me. I got cool with them over the years. I got cool with Maceo because he lived in Florida and he kind of knew me from the MTV battle, and we like seen each other at events. And then I got Paz on a record on The War Within on my first Strange album. I got Pasta News on a record, and we got kind of cool. And he always showed showed me a lot of love. And then I got to meet Dave before he passed when they did Drink Champs. You know, our homie EFN who managed Mayday for years. He hit me that day and was like, "Yo, Paz was asking about you," and I was like, "Oh shit, cool." And he was like, "Do you want to come through?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to come through." So I got to go over there, and I had never met Dave, and Dave was there, so I got to say what's up to him and meet him, and yeah, so. A fan moment for me with a group that was very like influential to me. When I first put my first group together, it was me and H2O, Rudy, and another Rudy named Goblin. Yeah, Rudy Goblin. Yeah, my homies, one of my best earliest influences and friends. And those two really helped me to fully grasp like how dope De La was, because like I told you before, like I kind of missed the boat, so I had to be schooled a little bit.
You had to
so
go back. You had to go back.
Yeah. and H really helped me like, you know, you should start with Blue Mind State or do this record first. And, you know, gave me like kind of where to go. And then I just went to running. When I got to Stakes is High, I was like, this is the fucking best thing I've ever fucking done in my life.
Hey, shout out to him, man. Shout out to WVCC Radio. Shout out to H2Owens. That's the type of people you need in your circle. Someone who's giving you them history books. You need that. Right? That's what you need in your circle. Someone who's like, yo, take a look at this history first before we move forward. Fire that.
Yeah. So they put me on, and De La was always a big influence for me since then. Just the way they handled it, and also that they were able to do hip hop music without having to be, you know what I mean? Like they could be themselves, and that I resonated with that because I wasn't a street dude, I wasn't a street kid. I I'm just from where I'm from, and like I just want to rap and make dope music and shit. Peace and love. Like, so when I saw them doing their thing, it made me feel like, oh shit, okay, cool. I don't have to be Biggie. That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I can't pull that off.
Fact.
That was a big one for me.
Okay. I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at those influences.
And last question for me is, what's next for you, dog? Whether it be a solo project or a next Mayday project, what do you got coming up?
Man, we're trying to do
about. You can talk about. You know, I'll be. You know what I mean?
I'll be slightly cryptic here, but but you know, so just to fully understand like where our scope is, we got off of Strange in 2022 in May, and then we put out like a single for Mayday. Then we did a tour with Wax. We put out a single with him, and then we did like a remix. We did very little on the record side, and then when we went into 2023, it became the 10th anniversary of Believers, which is one of our most popular Strange music records. It's like our highest streamed one. It has a lot of singles that everybody knows. So we came up with the idea to do an anniversary tour. So we basically did 30 plus shows where we did the whole album cover to cover. And at that time, we were trying to put together some other touring situations for the fall of that year, and it didn't really pan out. So then we were just like, fuck it, let's just keep this Believers shit going, because the vibe was so good at those shows. And we had this really cool effect, which, like I said, about aging through the years in your music career. We had kids that were coming to the show. I say kids, they're like 21 now, for instance. And the 21-year-old... Yeah, exactly. So the 21-year-olds were showing up at the show and being like, yo, I've been listening to this album for 10 years since I was 11 with my mom. And me and my mom are here at the shows. Now I'm old enough to go to the show. And that blew our minds. We didn't really see that coming. So it was like a really dope, make you feel a little old, but at the same time, really dope to see a new like generation of listener that was there. We just didn't know they were there because they couldn't come to the show. You know, I say all that to say we went through 2023 without releasing any music for Mayday. I did like 6 singles. So for me solo, those 6 singles are leading up into an album. I have another project that is hopefully, if life permits and my kids give me some breathing room, will come out in the next like month or so. So I got another EP. I got an EP and an album on the way. And then for Mayday, we've been putting out some singles, and those are all leading up to an album this year as well. And we might also have a little bonus other project that's kind of waiting in the wings as well. So hopefully, if all goes according to plan, by the end of this year, it'll be one of the like busiest years for us as a camp, between like my solo drops and the Mayday drops too. So fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Super excited for that, man. Definitely excited for that. That's awesome, man. Quietly working.
Yeah, trying to work and raise these kids at the same time. They don't really go hand in hand a lot, but
it's tough.
I got
juggling at for real.
You got to sacrifice some sleep, instead of going to Costco. You got to order some Costco here, so within that hour you can do some work.
Uber Eats or DoorDash be coming in handy. But my wife holds me down, and her parents live right near us, and we utilize their help a lot. So that it takes a village thing has definitely kept me from going completely submersible, because without them, I don't know if music would be coming out, or I'd be even sane at this point. So get you a good support system, and you could juggle it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, shout out to them for that.
For real. Shout out to the village.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the village.
So, Rec, you got anything else, man? You got anything else to add? I know we closing it up. We want to make sure you ain't got nothing.
No, go ahead.
Okay. No. So for me, so we just dropped this really cool project that I'm promoting right now, which is this EP called The Reckoning. And basically, what it was I have a Patreon page where I have a community that comes in and supports, and I give them exclusives and live streams and stuff. And I had set, when I first started it back in 2019, I had set like this threshold for us to get to. And it was 200 members. I was like, when we get to 200 members, I'm going to do a project. I'll give y'all an exclusive project. And when I got to the 200 members, I was like, damn, you know what? Instead of just making y'all wait for this project that I'm working on, why don't we just come together and basically I'll build it from scratch with you guys, make you guys a part of the process. Which in the beginning, I was like, this sounds like a good idea, but also could be a terrible fucking idea. I didn't know how it was going to go, So what's cool is, it did end up becoming this really dope process. Basically, like, I would get a producer, 5 of their beats, and then I would have the community vote on the best beat. We'd go with that. Then everyone would throw in concepts. This beat sounds like a rainy day. This beat sounds like whatever. And then we'd vote on the concepts as well. So they'd vote on the beats, vote on the concepts, suggest features. We'd vote on that. It was all like very democratic. And
that sounds fun though.
Yeah, it was a vibe. It ended up being way more fun than I expected it to be, because I wasn't sure. Also, like, it was going on during COVID. So I was just warming up to the idea of virtual sessions, songwriting sessions, which I didn't think I was going to like at first. And then ended up being like, it's not that bad, actually. It's kind of cool. It's a vibe. And then the same thing happened with the Patreon stuff, where we were in there and it was a good time and building in the tracks and everybody was enjoying it. So it took a little while, because to get all those tracks together, get everybody involved, it took like the better part of 2020. And then 2021, when the world started to rev back up, I kind of let the project sit, and then like we tried to go on the road during COVID, and it was a hot mess and a fucking nightmare. So it was like my brain started to fry. So then the project kind of got caught up and just sitting there for a while. And then finally in 2022 made a move to get it mixed and finished, and cross all the T's, dot the I's. Basically, we got it out finally this past year. So it's an exclusive project to Patreon. You can also get it on Bandcamp. It's 7 or 8 tracks that are kind of like inspired loosely by the events of 2020, and then kind of like going on to life, past that catastrophe. And and it was a lot of fun. So it's a EP that doesn't have a wide release. It's not on streaming services for now. And it's been a vibe. It's been cool. Hopefully we'll get to do another one at some point. But that's the latest I'm doing until the next project. That's kind of what I'm pushing at the moment. And I also want to say thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey man, we truly appreciate it. We definitely want to check that out, man. Yo, thank you for joining us. Oh, it looks like H said the Get the Fuck Out of Here podcast.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, all right, there we go. The pro fresh publicity. Shout out to my man. Hell yeah. I got a podcast too, you know what I mean? It's only right. My podcast is not really music related though. It's like basically I started it during COVID as well, because everybody was trapped inside and bored. Yeah, we was all bored as hell. So I was like, what can I do? I want to do a podcast that isn't like music related, so I can kind of just do something different, and I'll just throw in dashes of music promo here and there. So I basically came up with, it started off an Instagram joke I had where people were getting all out of hand about the Little Mermaid being a black actress.
Oh man.
So, when they was flipping out about that, I was like, bro, you fucking serious? Is this what we're upset about now?
This
like,
is what we're mad about.
This is it? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So,
bro, shit.
Yeah, like people started running that joke back, and I stripped that clip out and started making, like, every time something annoyed me or the world was acting stupid, I'll just play that get the fuck out of here clip. So I turned it into the premise for the podcast, which is just like criticizing and reviewing like dumb criminals and stupid shit that happens in pop culture and like, and news and shit like that. And it turned into a lot of dumb criminal shit because that shit's kind of fun. We just do that basically and review those stories. We do it every Tuesday night, and it comes out on Wednesday on all the platforms and shit. And then I'll do like some music shit at the end. I'll break down like a song they request something like that, just to keep it so they know I do that shit too.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's dope. No, that's
Get the
dope,
fuck
though,
outta
man.
here.
That's funny. I
Streaming
mean,
everywhere.
you're gonna have the way the times are. You're gonna have endless material because of how
man.
sensitive the world is. So.
Yeah, man. You're gonna have it.
I can't front. In the beginning, it was a little bit like arduous on my soul. I was like, damn, do I want to be doing this? Because like I'm digging into a lot of fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Like, and then I try to pick like, I mean, we have some dark turns, but I try to keep it lighthearted for the most part. But even in researching the shit, I got to go through
you gotta
the
see
rough
some,
shit. You know, like, ooh, like, damn, but man, people are so foul. So I in the beginning, it's fucked up. In the beginning, I definitely was feeling it, and now I'm a little bit desensitized to it. It's kind of savage, but like, I just like I'm looking for the right stories. It's O's and ones, you know, and it's a little bit fucked up, but it is what it is. I was just worried it was gonna like have an effect on my mental health, and luckily to this point, I guess I don't know. I'm able to focus on what's funny and cut out all the bullshit. So anyway, for now, yeah, we've done 82 episodes. It's just me doing a one-man show, and hopefully I'll be able to keep it going.
Hey man, hey, I mean, if it's something that's fun for you, it's kind of like your own thing. Why not? You know?
Yeah,
Fuck it. I almost canceled it a couple times, and I was like, wait a second, no, I fucking like doing this. I don't get. Like, if the audience isn't as big as I would hope it would be, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going. It's for me.
Yeah,
man,
as long as if it's for you, fuck it. You know?
yeah. Fuck it, I'm gonna have my fun.
Yeah, man, that's definitely dope. I definitely want to check that out because that's.
I'm definitely
kinda
after this. I'm gonna check it out actually.
Yeah, please do. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, the first, I will give you the trigger warning, or not trigger warning. I'll give you the disclaimer, which is in the beginning when I first started and during COVID, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So like the first like 5 to 10 episodes are me trying to figure this shit the fuck out. But if you just start at the most recent shit, because it's just the new latest stories. Basically, start from the newest shit, and you'll catch a vibe for what the show has morphed into from me figuring out how to do some fucking show. You know?
Got you. I'll definitely get that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, people,
But
I hope you enjoy it.
Yo, again, we truly appreciate you hopping on. This was super fucking dope, man. And let everybody
Likewise.
know where to follow you and all that. I mean, I know most gonna know, but you know.
Oh yeah,
Drop
it's
them
only
follows.
right. I'm at Wrekonize. It's spelled all fucked up. WREKONIZE. That's no C and no G. All right. I'm at Wrekonize on all of the social media. I got a website too, old school, wrekonizethemusic.com. Check me out. I got a dope merch shop up. I got the Patreon as well going if you really want to get extra and support. Patreon.com/Wrekonize. And like I said, it's exclusive music, monthly freestyle every month that's not released publicly. We got a dope Discord server. I do Friday night live streams too, where I just play music and do Q&A. So it's a very active Patreon. So if you're looking for some shit to do or some new music to get, come on down.
Hey.
Link in the description below.
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna link everything in the video. But again, yo, truly appreciate you hopping on and chopping up with us. This was super fucking dope. Definitely a way to start the year for us. So we appreciate it, man, for sure.
I'm honored to be on it. I appreciate it. Hopefully, next time we pass through for a Mayday show, you guys can come out, people.
Yo,
definitely.
We'll do. All right, y'all.
Yeah, definitely holler at me when we come through. Sorry.
I got you. I will. No, I will.
Cool.
I'll let you.
Cool.
But yeah, peoples, we signing off, man. We hope y'all enjoyed. This was a dope one. It's late, man. It's late out here. We grown. We got things.
It's early, like
Cali time, guy.
We got kids.
Yeah, we got kids, man. It's rough. But yo, peace out, people. We signing off, man. I'll let y'all.
Peace.